Florence Nightingale is credited with creating modern nursing with her theories on hygiene and living standards. She's also known for reducing mortality rates as she trained nurses to treat soldiers in the Crimean War. ASU Professor Emeritus Melissa Pritchard has written a book on the life of Florence Nightingale. The book is titled Flight of the Wild Swan, and we welcome Melissa Pritchard to Arizona Horizon. We should note that she'll be at Changing Hands Bookstore in Tempe on Monday, April 29th, 7 p.m. One of your old haunts there at Changing Hands, huh?
Yes.
Who was Florence Nightingale?
Florence Nightingale was an extraordinary woman, born in 1820 at the height of the British Empire. She was contemporary with Queen Victoria. They were about the same age. And she was born into an elite family and had an experience at the age of 16 where she felt a voice called to her. She thought it was God asking her to serve the suffering of the world, to serve the suffering people of the world. And it was a mystical experience, and everybody has a different interpretation of it. I think she probably did have something like that, but that changed her entire life. She'd always been interested in nursing, even as a child, in collections and numbers, and the embryonic Florence was there as a child, but this voice that she heard, somewhat like Joan of Arc or something, it changed her whole life and her focus. And so she decided she wanted to be a nurse, which was about the most disreputable thing you could ask to be in Victorian England.
I was going to say, explain more about that.
Yes. Well, nursing at that point in her life, mid-19th century, a nurse came from the lower classes, a woman who could get no other occupation. A nurse was considered slightly better than an actress, but only a half cut above being a prostitute. I mean, it was a terrible. Charles Dickens characterized a nurse in Sairey Gamp, as in the figure of Sairey Gamp in Martin Chuzzlewit, the novel, as this gin-soddled woman that muttering and, morally compromised, and just, it was a horrible thing to say you wanted to be. And so Florence goes to her parents, who want her to be married and have children, and particularly a son, so that everyone can keep their wealth and their land.
Sure.
And she said, I want to be a nurse. And there was nothing worse you could say you wanted to be. So she had to overcome so many objections, beginning with her family, and moving on to the patriarchy.
But we don't think of nursing like that anymore, and in great deal we don't because of
Florence Nightingale. She is responsible she founded the first school of training for nurses in the world in 1860 at St. Thomas Hospital, where it became a secularized, professionalized, respected and paid position. Nurses wore uniforms, nurses took classes, studied rigorous course study. She changed the entire face of nursing.
And she did so with a scientific mindset, and yet, as you mentioned, she was a visionary, she was kind of a mystic. I was going to ask, how come you wrote about Florence Nightingale, but now I'm asking, how come everyone doesn't write about Florence? There's a lot going on there.
I know. When I had the decision to write about her when I was at the Florence Nightingale Museum at St. Thomas Hospital in 2013. I was there doing something else, and I went to the museum, and I just was overcome by her life and everything that was there, and I just stood there. I said, I'm going to write a novel about her. So I bought all the books in the museum, that the museum had in their gift shop. I bought everything short of the paper dolls and the coloring books. I took them all home to Arizona, where I was at the time. And I didn't get to them for another 6 years, but the more I did research on Florence, the more in awe of her I became, and the more she's a supremely inspirational figure.
And you mentioned the word novel. Now, is it a historical novel? Is it a biography? What is it? Somewhere in between, a collection of letters? What is this?
It's called an historical biography. They label it that, or sometimes they label it historical fiction. And it is. I used some of her letters, some of her correspondence, but also I made up a lot of my own letters. So it's really a compendium, but it's mostly fiction. I would say primarily fiction, but based on fact. I really wanted it to be based on fact.
Did you feel her with you as you wrote?
Sometimes, sometimes, but yes, all of a sudden I would sort of feel her guiding me towards something. Don't miss this scene or that character. And in this past September 2023, I actually went to Scutari. I went to Istanbul, and I visited the museum where her hospital had been. So I actually got to see the quarters where she and her 38 nurses worked and lived.
Yes.
And I really did feel her presence there. I didn't expect to. I didn't know what I would, you know.
Yeah.
I really, at one point, and standing in front of her desk and her chair, I felt a physical force almost.
In that respect, did immersing yourself into her life, did that change your life?
It did. It really did. At first I went through a period of getting very excited about writing about her. Then I became intimidated, like, what was I thinking? What in the world was I thinking? You could spend your life studying Florence Nightingale, and people have, you know, biographers. But then I just kept going. I felt compelled. I felt called to write this book. And as I made my way through it, I became more and more really impressed with her courage, her fearlessness, her willing to do what's right, you know. And
I would be remiss if we didn't mention, again, you mentioned the patriarchy and kind of referred to it in the past, but she was dealing in a very different world than we're living in right now.
Yes, I had to keep moving into that world and you know, away from the world we're in now and going, oh my God. So when she went to the Crimean War in 1854 with 38 nurses, when she got there, she was not welcomed. Yeah. British women had never served as nurses in wartime. They were never, so the French had some women nurses, but never. So she was up against that obstacle too. They called her the bird. They didn't want her there until they met her. Then she persisted. She was incredibly persistent,
yes,
determined, more brilliant than many of them. And she got the whole hospital up and running.
And thus the flight of the wild swan. Melissa Pritchard, thank you so much for, congratulations on the book.
Thank you.
And it's good to see you again. Thanks for joining us.
Good to see you too. Thank you so much.